What's up, meatbags? It's the often imitated, never duplicated TonyTGD coming at you with a video about yours truly. That's right, I'm going to be talking about myself, some of my past work. I'm going to go over it. We're going to discuss it a little, because everybody's been asking me about, some of the things I did in the past. They want to know about this journalistic legacy that I always talk about, all these websites that I claim that I work with, but I've never shown proof. No one can find proof. It's, hidden out there in the ether. So I figured I'd go ahead and spill the beans. I'd show you a little bit, pull that curtain back a little and expose myself, as it were. Now, the first website we're going to look at here is oneangrygamer.net. It's a really terrible website. I didn't realize the owner was so crazy when I first joined, but quickly I realized, and I quit the website after he went on a kind of a rant. But it is under new ownership, so it's not as bad as it used to be. But the first article I'm looking at here is Alyssa Wong deleted around 45,000 tweets, but not one saying fuck Stan Lee. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Alyssa Wong, she is a writer for Marvel Comics. She was hired probably around early 2019, maybe late 2018. She kind of slid in there. Nothing too controversial until around August of that year. Someone had started passing around a tweet that she supposedly made around Stan Lee's death saying, fuck Stan Lee. Now, everybody was jumping on this. You probably, if you are familiar with the comics world, if you watch YouTube videos about comic book creators and stuff like that, you probably heard about Alyssa. You heard about how she said fuck Stan Lee and how terrible it was that Marvel would hire such a lady and why wasn't she fired and all kind of crazy shit like that. Now, while everybody was jumping on this bandwagon ready to demonize this woman, I took it upon myself to investigate the claim. You see, I looked into it and I found out that it was complete and utter bullshit. You see, it was a fake tweet. Someone had created a tweet saying fuck Stan Lee and attributed it to Alyssa Wong in order to get her in trouble, in order to get her canceled, if you will. Now, what was being used as proof around the time was a response to another person on Twitter, and he had a vague recollection of having some kind of conversation with Alyssa, so he was under the belief that it was true. Now, again, no one looked into it. No one used the tools of Twitter to go back to when this tweet supposedly took place and actually look what was going on. No one except for me, because I'm probably the only one willing to go to bat for this lady, because I don't care if you're left leaning, right leaning, whatever. I just want truth. I want the facts out there, and the facts are she did delete 45,000 tweets. She purged her Twitter. She had probably had some controversial things that she wanted to get rid of before, working for Disney, Marvel, whatever you want to call it. But there was no fuck Stan Lee tweet. So that was something that I did, you know, nothing too big, not really important, the grand scheme of things, but like I said. Now this other one here, same website. It's if you like Alita Battle Angel, then the Independent thinks you may be alt-right. You see, Alita Battle Angel had released around the same time as Captain Marvel, and if you're unfamiliar with it, Captain Marvel was trashed pretty heavily by everybody. Personally, I didn't like the movie. I think it's about a 6 out of 10. It could use some better editing. The story didn't really flow. But, yeah, so people were flocking to Alita Battle Angel saying this is how you do a strong woman correct. And because of that, because if you didn't like Captain Marvel, obviously you hated women. So since people were liking Alita, they had to figure out a way to kind of change the narrative, because you can't say you hate women if you're going to bat for Alita Battle Angel. So what they went with was that you're alt-right. You are some weird right-wing conspiracy nut. So the Independent wrote an article about it. I discussed it in this piece, but I wasn't satisfied with that. You see, I went ahead and I actually sat down and discussed the whole situation with the Alita Army, which is the fans of Alita Battle Angel. No other journalist was able to get any comments from these people. After the Independent article came out, the Alita Army kind of retreated from the internet. They didn't want to talk to nobody. They didn't want to talk to any journalist. They were afraid that their words would be taken out of context, that they would be labeled as alt-right, that they would use statements they made against them. But fortunately for me, I'm able to talk my way into just about any situation. So I was able to convince them to have a sit-down conversation with me, talk to several members, got the full conversation out there, showed that these people were not alt-right, that they were just fans that just really liked the movie, and that they were being used and manipulated by others, in this little game of culture war. You had people like the Quartering trying to use the Alita Battle Angel movie to attack Captain Marvel. You had the Captain Marvel fans trying to use their movie to attack Alita Battle Angel. It got ugly, but once again, I went out there, got the facts, reported them. No big deal. It's just what I do. Now, if we scroll on up here, these are all articles from me, by the way. It's got the little TonyTGD. These are my particular articles in my section. Now, Kathy Zhu, whatever, isn't being completely truthful. You see, she is the former, was it Miss Michigan? She was a beauty contestant who was stripped of her crown. And the narrative going around was that poor Kathy was a victim of cancel culture, that they didn't like her because she was right wing. She was a MAGA hat wearing individual, Trump fan. So, people didn't like her. That was the narrative that they went with. She appeared on the Ben Shapiro show, I believe. And again, no one actually looked into the situation. No one, dug deep. No one delved behind the curtain, except for me. And I was able to discover that, some of these complaints that were made against her were actually true. Kathy Zhu was not this innocent, America-loving beauty pageant contestant who got her crown stripped for no reason. She actually said some pretty horrible and shitty things. And she actually tried to get another Republican candidate canceled in her home state. I detail it all in this article. It's really good. I was able to actually get a conversation with her where I got her on record lying to me about not having a second Twitter account. See, when you're a journalist, sometimes you ask questions that you already know the answer to because you want to know if this person's going to lie to you. And Kathy lied to me, straight up. She just lied. And then when I presented her with the evidence, she attempted to say that she would sue me, that if I wrote the story. But fortunately for me, when you have the truth on your side, lawsuits don't mean shit. So I got the story out. Not a lot of people actually know the truth. They probably still think she's just this poor, innocent, conservative that got targeted for no reason. But the truth, it's there. She wasn't. She did some shit. It was terrible. There you go. You can see author TonyTGD. That's me. Often imitated, never duplicated. Now we're going to go over to, we got to use the Wayback Machine, unfortunately, because candies.com is no longer around. Now, you can't see the authors of these particular pieces, but Blurred Lines was written by me. Netflix Glitter or Gold was a series I did where I would look at Netflix movies that, those movies that you see on the Netflix thing, but they're not a popular movie. You never heard of it, but it kind of looks interesting, but you're not sure if you want to waste 2 hours of your life finding out if it's a good movie. Well, I would look at those movies. I would watch them, give a review, and let you know if they were worth your time. You can see here I reviewed Compliance, Nature Calls. This right here, I did a review of Gangnam Style and Gentleman, the 2 songs from Psy. There's another one, Osambi review I did. Life Without Balloons was a science article I did about the lack of helium for nuclear test. This Iron Man 3 review I did. Another Netflix Glitter Gold, Noobs. So, I did a lot of writing. So you're probably thinking, Tony, how do we know you're telling the truth? How do we know that this isn't just some bullshit archive you pulled up? Well, as you can see, here is a archive of this particular article. One of the very few articles that got archived, thankfully. And it is about Psy's Gangnam Style, love for Gangnam Style, hate Gentlemen. And if we scroll down to the bottom here, we can see that it's a Tony the Gamer Dad rant. It's me. There's my legal name, as I was required to use on the website. So, yeah, once again, just doing my thing. This is way back from September 2013. I think I was writing for it probably about 3 or 4 months at this point. So, I mean, that's what, 8 years ago. Now, this is Leviathan.com. The site's still around, but once again, they tried to make me use my legal name, but I took my last name off of it. Obviously, just Anthony V, but that is me. If you need proof, I do have the email still from the website, so But I wrote a couple articles here. Xbox One used game policy, another used game policy one here. 8 greatest tag teams in wrestling history. It's a very good article. I recommend this one right here if you're into wrestling. We got one is the 5 lost franchises of video games. This is where I discuss some franchises that all of a sudden, they just disappeared and they were doing good, and then just disappeared, went away. The 5 best Superman clones of the Marvel Universe. Once again, that's good. Here's another review of Noobs I did. I did it for 2 different websites. And here's a little test. Are you a true gamer? 30 signs that you are. I mean, just a little fun little thing that I did. And no, that's not me in the picture. That's some random Google image search picture. So, sorry guys. I know you were looking for a face reveal, but that's not me. Now we got another Wayback Machine going here. This is the 8th Circuit Network. Unfortunately, again, this website is not around. But here is Tony the Gamer Dad. That's me. I used to have a little PS3 controller with the Jaguar skin on it. And here's some articles I did. Marvel vs. DC 2, Batman vs. Spider-Man. It's a little series I did where I would, pit 2 characters, one from Marvel, one from DC against each other, and discuss, what would happen if they actually fought. Here's talking about we were headed to C2E2, going out there to do some on-site reporting at Comic-Con and Entertainment Expo. Yeah, that's what it's called. No, Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo. That's what it is. Iron Man 3 post-credit scene. Talked about Captain America, Winter Soldier. Did a little Green Lantern vs. Quasar. Did a little Dread 3D, 2D sequel rumors. Something about Superior Spider-Man, Avengers 2. Some Dynasty Warriors 8 article. Back when the Xbox 360, the sequels were being called the Xbox 720. When it was going to be always online. That was before we knew it was called the Xbox One. People were just referring to it as the Xbox 720 as a joke. But yeah, like I said, there's, just some things I did. The last little thing we're going to take a look at is a Go Collect reviews. I did get paid to review comic books at one point. As you can see, again, Tony the Gamer Dad, that would be me. That was the old handle that I used. I briefly used that because at one point I was working for a website called 30 Plus Gamer. And that was kind of the gimmick, was that it was for people over the age of 30. And so to differentiate myself between everybody, I went with the Tony the Gamer Dad handle as, someone who has children, a different perspective versus a single over 30-year-old. As you can see, I reviewed 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 37 comic books. Got paid for every one of them. Got paid for the comic book plus for the review, so that was good. I didn't have to actually buy my own comics. And I did get to choose which comics I wanted to review. And these were reviewed at the time of release. They weren't reviewed later. These weren't old comics that I was reviewing. They were brand new. They would come out Wednesday, grab some new comics, review them, get paid. It was a sweet gig. But, that's all I got to say. Just wanted to give you guys a little peek behind the curtain, let you know what I've been up to in the past. Maybe if you guys are interested, we'll do another one. I'll show some other articles I did, leave you some more links. But, you know how we do it on the channel. Love, peace, booty grease. I'm out this bitch.